Hi everybody, we're looking at an AZORIUS Reanimator deck that uses a lot of the big new artifact creatures from the Brothers' War, as well as some old tricks to kind of bring them back a little bit early and really punish our opponents for playing any creatures at all. Let's look at the bottom end for a little bit. We've got 4 copies of Raffine's Informant and 4 Faithful Mending. These are great methods of drawing and discarding cards to get our reanimation targets into the graveyard as soon as we can. Faithful Mending has the added bonus of giving us a little bit of life, which in today's aggro-heavy metagame can certainly come in handy. Raffine's Informant, too, is also not bad in that you can get a 3/2 blocker early, or if you happen to bring something back later with Invoke Justice, for example, you've got something on board to put some counters on and immediately smack the opponent with, which is kind of nice. Looking over at the 3-drops, we've got the Restoration of Eiganjo and Circuit Mender, as well as Urza, Lord Protector. Now, we've got a couple of fun one-ofs in here just to try with the Circuit Mender, but Urza is in here because we're also playing the Mightstone and Weakstone. The idea is that if we happen to have one of those things around and they survive, then we can bring back the missing piece and try to meld Urza that way. Now, only a couple of copies in here for fun, so I never got to do it, but it's a potential way for this deck to go in the future if we want to concentrate on that combo instead next time. So what exactly are we reanimating? First of all, we've got 2 copies of Jin-Gitaxias from Kamigawa. Jin has a great home in this deck in that we can copy our Reanimator spells, we can copy our card draw spells and Faithful Mending, and we can also copy hardcast artifacts from our hand. So things like Circuit Mender, things like Combat Thresher and Steel Seraph, and as well as Portal to Phyrexia and Cityscape Leveler are kind of high-end, VIP, exclusive artifacts and artifact creatures. Now, an important thing to remember with Jin-Gitaxias in play is when you cast the prototype version of a card, it copies the prototyped version. So you'll end up with 2 copies of a 1/1 Combat Thresher, for example, if you decide to play it for 3. Same with the Steel Seraph, and so on. And on the flip side, if you pay the full price version, it will also copy those as well. So you get a second copy of whatever version you pay for. It's still kind of surprising to me just kind of how much protection Jin-Gitaxias can offer us against opponents with removal that's kind of expensive, or opponents who are trying to play a board wipe to answer some of our big threats. They need a second thing to do to kind of get Jin-Gitaxias' trigger out of the way before they can depopulate, for example. So just a really solid all-around card. And we've only got like 2 or 3 copies of kind of each of our targets, you'll see, and it gives us a nice variety of options to play. So we can really handle a lot of different kinds of opponents just because we're seeing so many kind of different effects. So we've got some life gain from the Steel Seraph, for example, but it also gives our things flying. Now, the most useful ones are obviously the lifelink and the flyers for us, but we've also got Combat Thresher in here. Now, these 2 prototypes can come down a little bit early and act as blockers. We don't really care if they perish early on because we are planning to bring them back anyway. Combat Thresher is great for drawing us a card, and it also is a wonderful target for Invoke Justice in that we can slap a whole bunch of counters on it, give it flying with the Steel Seraph, and swing in for some double strike damage. So all these things are kind of very threatening on their own, even in the prototyped version, just because we can kind of pump them up a little bit. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Leveler and the Portal. Now, 8 and 9 mana for an artifact is pretty high, but we do frequently get up that high just because of the amount of card draw we have, the number of Restoration of Eiganjos we have. Even that single copy of Mightstone and Weakstone contributes to being able to cast these things reliably in a game. So all is not lost if we happen to draw one of these late and we're short on a reanimation spell. We can still do it. Portal is wonderful. It's one of my favorite new effects from the new set. We get to make our opponent sacrifice 3 creatures right away, and then turn after turn, we get to just bring something back from anybody's graveyard, including our own. In fact, most often our own, because we tend to have the best stuff in our graveyard. Anyway, I keep coming back to this deck over and over. I've been playing a lot of different arcane bombardment decks, but in my kind of downtime, the one that I keep coming back to is this. I think on the ladder right now, I'm like 11-3, maybe even 12-3. It's really solid. It's really fun. And, I'm not a huge aggro player. This is able to deal with aggro, but we still get to play these gigantic haymaker effects on the back end. And I just love it. I think it's great. So anyway, let's get over and see some of these games on the ranked standard ladder. I'll be with you for some commentary, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right, we are here with our AZORIUS Reanimator deck. Words I did not think I would be saying. Normally I don't like to keep a 2-lander, but we've got 3 card draw effects plus a restoration in our hand, so we are well set up, even if we didn't just draw that 3rd plains. All right. Opponent doing some drawing and discarding. They have a Leveler of their own, a card we also play in here. So they could be on some kind of reanimation game plan as well. Informant comes down. We will discard the Portal. Portal and Leveler, often two things we want to get down early. We can cast them late game, but they're also great effects to have available in the graveyard as soon as possible, because we're going to try to draw... Well, we just got a Raffine's Tower. We're going to try to draw our way into a Invoke Justice or a Repair and Recharge. All right, I guess that's fine. Discard to draw. We'll take this opportunity to Faithful Mending, and I will pitch a Pain Land and a Plains. Wonder if they're also playing Fable over there. That would be really nice with a Leveler. All right, let's get our tower down. Restoration. We've got Invoke Justice. We just need to have the untapped mana available next turn to play it. We could get in, but yeah, it's fine. We'll see if we can spare this Informant and slap some counters on it when we Invoke Justice. Oh. So they're on the meld Mishra game plan. I can respect that. All right, so they've got some unearth effects. They're going to try to bring that back most likely. Well, we have plenty of land. Let's just discard this and bring it back. It's kind of like ramping, I guess. Anyway, we're all set with this, so let's Invoke Justice. Portal to Phyrexia. Target us for the counters. Okay, good. Our Informant gets big. They have to sacrifice blockers. Opponent thinking about that a little bit. All right, we get in, and we are pretty well set up. Start stealing our opponent's graveyard. All right, opponent doesn't like that. Good game. Starting off with a Raffine's Tower here for AZORIUS Reanimation. Unfortunately, 2 tap lands to start off with, but this Faithful Mending should help us scoop us out of this land. Oh, okay. Never mind. We drew into it anyway. Anyway, it'll help us find some lands and dump this Portal and probably one of these Threshers into the graveyard. All right, Wedding Announcement. Opponent looks to be on some kind of mono-white enchantment plan. Oh. Well, definitely Portal and definitely Jin now. Let's Thresh to try to draw into that land. Ugh, we miss it. Okay. Well, priority number 1 is to get those lands. Probably should have Faithful Mending, but think we'll be fine. Michiko has flipped already and hasn't really done any damage to anything, so that's a good sign for us, but second Wedding Announcement, they're going wide. There's the lands. All right, let's dump the Portal and the other Thresher. Well, now Seraph instead. Have a little variety down there. We could always hard cast this if we get Jin-Gitaxias back. The Thresher, I mean. All right, Informant. Yeah, we don't need this. It'd be nice to draw cards with, but again, we have this Thresher in hand, so we'll see if we draw into our Urza. We can maybe meld that together. All right, we're still missing a land. We can block for a little while. There's the land, but it's tapped. All right, I think those are the worst cards we have. Get the tap land down. And definitely hang back. So the plan is, we're at 26. I'm in no hurry. And opponents thinking they're just going to stomp all over us. So let's let them expand a little bit. See if we can walk them right into this Depopulate, and then follow it up with Invoke Justice. Alright, Boseiju going to have a big creature left over if we let them flip into that. Yeah, I think still we Depopulate now. And we can trust in the portal to Phyrexia to take care of when Boseiju flips over and when they try to replay this Kami here. Excellent. But the announcements aren't producing any more tokens, so portal's going to be great. Oh. Now let's get Urza down. This could be interesting. Again, we're still at 26. Like we can take our time a little bit here. Ah, they borrowed time on Urza. All right, so we're going to take a little bit from this Kami, but yeah, Urza actually a nice distraction. Sorry, buddy. Allowing that Boseiju enchantment to flip, we're going to be able to hit that with the portal and get rid of that real nicely. Leveler, that'll be good for later. Alright, so Invoke Justice, definitely portal, targeting us for the counters, which won't do anything. Opponent has to sack. And then next turn, we will just bring back one of our best things from probably our graveyard. Opponent's sitting on a lot of 2/2s that work well together, but if we start picking them up, not going to help us too much. Those two announcements, though, just making all of these tiny creatures into legitimate attackers. Yeah, let's not portal that back. I think Jin, he gives us so much upside. Well, I mean, we're not going to double Depopulate, so let's double Invoke Justice. Thresher for 1. Jin copies that spell, and we'll get the second portal to take care of their board again. And then we'll just count on these portal activations next turn to start bringing back things like the Seraph and the other Thresher. Able to put counters on both of these things and threatening a ton of damage this turn unless you can address that. Alright, Kami's a 4/4, that's okay. Companion, trying to draw into another borrowed time. There's one, okay. Going for the Thresher? Alright. Well, let's see. Seraph here. And Thresher for the card draw. Alright. Let's give Jin flying. Get in for 9. Only option is to start Faithful Mending after we do this restoration here. Was kind of hoping we would draw into another like prototype there. Ah, too much. All right. Anyway, good game. All right, we're starting off with our one of Circuit Mender here. There's some more planes. Good. Sometimes we do get stuck with our pain lands. And there's Urza as well. All right. Even if we don't have the Mightstone and the Weakstone, Urza's still pretty good on its own. Yep. Discarding Portal early is usually the right play. Seraph could go either way if you want a 3-drop, but we've got both Urza and the Circuit Mender to take care of kind of our next turns. We've got plenty of lands, so we don't need a restoration yet. Anything we can do to draw cards is kind of the way we want to go. So we might Mender, we might Faithful Mending. All different types of mending in this mending-themed deck. Oh. You tucked Urza away? All right, well, that plans out. Yeah, let's just get this going. Pulling other planes out. There's no guarantee that the Circuit Mender will die or leave the battlefield netting us a card. Oh, more planes. Okay. Well, definitely discard the pain land that we don't need. Bring it right back. Untap land. That's Circuit Mender. Is this going to draw out a counter finally? No. Okay. Opponent really thinking hard about that. Alright, well, we draw the card anyway. That's fine. Thresher should help us find some more reanimation, but, I mean, the way these lands are going, we're going to be able to hardcast whatever we find in a few turns. Alright, plains and full price Thresher from us. Devious cover-up. I get it. Magic players, you want to feel smart. Countering things makes sense. Vortex just returns Restoration to our hand. There's Jin. Alright, let me get this down. We'll continue my thought here. Did we do that? Yeah, let's Restoration. We're going to slow roll Jin here. And Informant too. Alright. So it looks like they're not sitting on counters. Looks like they're a little more reactive. We're able to dig into a reanimator piece. Anyway, my word of advice is if you find your deck playing Devious Cover Up, just take it out, switch decks. Like, stop, get some help. The average game time for all these aggro decks is like 5 minutes. Like Devious Cover Up, you're not going to play that card again if you return it to your deck. If you find yourself in that situation, it's going to be too slow. All right, that's my soapbox moment for the for the day. Nothing personal, just a card that gets me every time. Let's see. We're fine. We'll just keep building up mana. That land brings us to 9. Sure to get Jin here. That'll offer us a little protection from a lot of our opponent's spells. Oh. I think we can just hardcast this Leveler. Right? I mean, unless we want to double up Repair and Recharge, there's a Portal and a Seraph down there. Yeah, let's try that. If Leveler, like, had haste, I think I would do that. Alright, so first one is going to target Portal. Jin copies Repair, and we'll get the, I don't know, Circuit Mender. Like, we've got enough power on the board. If anything happens to it, I'd like to draw a card. So we get in for 7. Lethal board if unanswered this turn. Opponent big scoring, but that gets countered thanks to Jin. Alright, they will bounce Jin. Don't think there's anything we can do about that except maybe Faithful Mending on the way out. Sure. 2 copies of Mending. Pitch some lands. And what else do we get? Another Jin. Another Leveler. Although we could haste that back from the grave with Unearth if we really want to, so... Yeah, let's bring Jin back, and then we can just haste this guy out. Right? Let's see, Unearth. Okay, Unearth is not a cast, so we won't get 2. We'll just get 1 8/8 hasty. Alright, good game. All right. Normally I don't like two landers, but this deck seems really forgiving with low land hands. We've got like Raffine's Informant, 4 copies of Faithful Mending. It'll take care of you. All right. Discarding early portal. All right. Let's get Deserted Beach. Let's get Urza down. If nothing else, Urza is a great distraction to let our opponents kind of waste some early removal. Like, it's not pivotal to what we're trying to do, but it's great if it sticks around. And if we happen to bring it back later, we can attempt to meld it, although still unsuccessful as of yet. All right. Plains number 4. We can early repair and recharge on portal. They will bounce the Mender. Okay, I was worried for a second there. All right, so nothing to sacrifice, but we can start the portal games next turn. We just get in for a simple 5. Oh, Tear Asunder. I need to play that card more often. That's got so many good targets nowadays. All right, so Mender comes back. We are stuck with a few Depopulates. Well, I think we can full price this Seraph, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, thanks to the Power Stone from Repair and Recharge, too. We're just getting all kinds of extra mana for artifacts. Sure. Flying. Get in with the Informant. Corrupt Court Official. I mean, so far our creatures are better, so don't feel bad about ditching one of our Depopulates. Island. Think we can hardcast this now? Yeah. Sure. Get rid of that Mender. We will give the Informant flying again and be able to attack with the 2 flyers plus Urza. Court Official blocks Urza. Just goes to the grave. Okay. Do you have a board wipe? Gloom Shrieker. What are you getting with that? Circuit Mender. Sure. Gets you to 10. And we draw a Jin. Well, I think let's give the Informant flying and just swing with the team. We can take out one of these blockers. That should do it. Good game. All right. Well, we've got our high-end cards here, just looking for ways to either get them in the graveyard or kind of accelerate our mana production out. This deck is kind of nice in that it can go a little bit both ways. You've got your early card draw, which helps you find your lands, a couple of things that make Power Stones, and then Urza and the Mightstone as well. So just looking at this plan. Oh, that's good against us. Cathar Commando. Well, I think... Let's see what we get here. Wedding announcement. All right, so it looks like mono white game plan for sure. Let's drop Restoration. Let's see if we can just bait them into hitting this before it flips. Sometimes opponents are a little wary of leaving Restoration around just because the Architect is super annoying to deal with. Resistance Squad. Okay. Draw a card. All right. That gets in for 4. Definitely a solid body on that Commando. Okay, discard-wise, Portal for sure. And let's get out the Seraph as well. Opponent doing some thinking there. They've got... Yeah, it looks like we have to give something to the Seraph. That's fine. It's like, can we bait them into using the commando early? Oh, okay. Intrepid Adversary going to pump the team. Don't think I mind blocking with the Seraph. So let's get rid of the commando on our own. Oh, and Invoke Justice too? Perfect. Let's invoke then. Bring back our portal. That will address your board and let us start bringing stuff back. Also, the timing on Restoration is often such that when we get to 5 mana for Invoke Justice, Restoration is flipping itself over. And so it almost like, it's a really safe target, really safe way to have a thing on the board to put counters on. Do we want your stuff? I might, yeah. I want to get rid of your wedding announcement. I mean, we just have a Seraph down there, which is fine, but speaking of Seraph, let's just get that. Again, why not both? All right, that thing already has Vigilance. Let's send it in. We'll give them the option to block if they really want to. All right. So a mono-white soldier deck is what we're going for. That's fine. Reinforcements are here, so they are pretty wide. We're going to have to start working on going over the top. But I mean, I've got a ton of mana as well, so why not? Like, we can pay this, right? It's not a weird, like, owner thing. It appears that we can. All right. Yeah, we'll pump the team. All right, good game. All right, starting off here with AZORIUS Reanimator. This is a great opening hand. Only thing that could make it better would be Portal to Phyrexia, but Leveler is nothing to sneeze at as well. A lot of our opponents, I'm finding, don't really have much of a use for a Power Stone that it creates when it destroys something, so it's a drawback, but it's not a huge drawback. Let's mend a couple of lands only. So just the Leveler and one of these islands. I think Restoration is the play. Get those planes out of our deck. We don't really need a prototype Seraph for blocking right now. And if we don't find a reanimation spell soon, no, there it is. Let's see, we got a portal down there. We might just hardcast this Seraph anyway. I mean, we could just cheat a land in a play like that. And be able to play this. Yeah, let's just get the Seraph down now. Sure. Another thing to put counters on if they happen to be able to deal with our Restoration. Ooh. Alright. So they can deal with the Seraph. Restoration flips right on time. We have a Leveler and a Seraph down there, so not a portal. Well, Leveler is gigantic. Let's go get it. And let's put a few counters on the Architect and just one on the Leveler. Trying to get the Architect out of range of opponents' burn spells, which have been enhanced by March of the Machines. Or not March of the Machines. Mechanized You know the one. Oh, all right. Hard to deal with a 9/9. Good game. Wasn't happy with that 2-lander. However, this gives us a lot of options, even if we only keep 6. Let's ditch the Informant, since we can play the Seraph on 3 if we really need a blocker, and then clean things up with Depopulate. Get our tap land down on turn 1. At least one good option of things to discard from us with this portal. Okay, so it looks like opponent is on green-white enchantments. Let's get land number 2 down. Alright, just a plains going into the attack. Any follow-up? No. Let's get Faithful Mending going. Yeah, Portal and the second Mending. Right now we're just on the train of trying to get some more white lands into play. Seraph has to target itself. Alright, so they could be angling for like a... yeah, Hallowed Haunting or something like that. But that creature over there is great at doubling up borrowed times and that kind of thing. Alright, well what do we find here? We've got Leveler and another land. We're just finding all of the islands in here, which is not what we're going for, but... Alright, Flying and Vigilance on that. Not bad. Opponent probably going to start making some spirits over there. Jukai Naturalist. Are they going to double up the trigger? They will, okay. So get 2 spirits for the price of 1. Alright, we draw into another plains. We will invoke Justice on the portal. Usually the thing you want to be going for. I mean, it does so much. Almost acts like a stand-in for a planeswalker. Just gives us this nice repeatable effect. So we'll get in for 3 there. Hope that they don't have something to remove this portal with, but... ah, Boseiju. Okay. Well, we'll definitely get that land. So now we're kind of on the train of building up our mana base till we get up to 8 and 9. We can start unearthing this Leveler and just hard casting any of the big stuff that we draw, even if we don't have reanimation in play yet. Alright, they will borrowed time on our Seraph. Double those spirit triggers again. And again, just kind of clearing the way here. Let's get Restoration down. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more we don't need that, don't need those creatures sticking around. Never mind, you got a Paragon to bring them all back. Okay. Let's see. Not sure discarding really does anything for us there. So let's unearth this Leveler and get back our Seraph at least. Alright, opponent's at 2. Alright, borrowed time comes back. And we'll target the Seraph again. Naturalist creates another spirit. And they're attacking with Paragon. Okay. Alright, so we flip and get our Architect. We've got Invoke Justice in hand. I think we just need to clear the way. Can't have them recycling things out of the grave. Might as well lay down Urza. Let's see. Checking out what they've got going on over there. Alright, Michiko comes down. Not too threatening, though, since kind of we got our creatures back on the board first, and they're not really able to do anything yet. Although Catilda will get them back into this game, so let's see what we can do here. Mending finds us a Thresher and a land. I think it is time for the portal. It'll at least make Catilda smaller if they keep that as their final creature. Yep, so they keep Catilda, but Catilda shrinks enough that Urza can attack. They have to block. Meaning they're going to need something else to stick Catilda on if they want to get that back in play. And let's just draw off of the cheap Thresher. Nice, another Invoke Justice. That's great. We can dump some more counters onto this Thresher and make it even bigger. Opponent gets a companion and a nice token. Spirited Companion. Confusing the names of these cards over here. Alright. Portal, let's see. Well, we could grab Catilda and prevent them from using it. Or we could grab Paragon as a flyer. I mean... the second portal? Probably keeping Catilda one more time. It's the kind of the best thing they've got going on. All right. Finally too much. Good game.